Hello, guys. What's going on? Welcome to the Clarity Lounge. I know so many of you checked in on last week. We are so apologetic. Is that a word? Apologetic? We're so apologetic that we kind of had some hiccups and weren't able to do it. So you'll have to watch the behind the scenes to find out what went on. But we're so glad that you've taken out your time to allow us to chat and talk with you. So for those that don't know us, again, welcome to the Clarity Lab, Clarity Lounge. I am Dre, and this is
Val. Oh, that's cheesy.
Huh?
That was a cheesy introduction.
Well, that's how we do this.
Okay, that's how.
Okay, would you like to do it normal?
No, I don't know. It just seemed like
okay. Well, this is our show. So this is our introduction show, and we're going to be telling you all or sharing with you all the things, all the juiciness you can expect. So I'm so glad to have my co-host, my wife, my the hamburger in my bun,
don't say right.
The coal in my slaw,
no.
The spaghetti in my meatball. But so glad to have her on the show. So here, this platform, we're going to be talking about a lot of things, a lot of stuff that we're going to be sharing with you all, talking about all things pertaining to life and godliness. And that's kind of a nutshell of this show, all things pertaining to life and godliness. So what does that include? What we expect to share with you all, anything that maybe you might be down about, or maybe you have an aha moment. We're going to be experiencing laughs. I don't know what's going on with my lips tonight. Laughs, just really having organic conversation. And I think I told Val that we should do this for a while. We've been trying to get this off the ground. And because, y'all, we have some of the greatest conversations in our car. When we're commuting to wherever we're going, we have some. I'm like, oh man, I should have the podcast on, and I didn't. So we decide. So hopefully, those moments can come out in this organic environment.
But wait, let me insert. Give me some grace, because it's one thing when it's organically done. It's a different thing when you feel you have to prep for a live or talk to people, and it's not rehearsed because we're going to be organic and it's just going to come out. I mean, we do kind of go over our points in terms of what's the main topics for the evening, but it just feels a little different. So give me grace. This is his platform. Well, you haven't been on here in a while.
Yeah,
either.
it's been a minute.
But anyhow, but at the end of the day, we just want to be, just authentic.
And bring value,
add value. I know it's a lot of folks doing this right now in this time, in this space of podcasts. And so I asked him, like, well, what's going to set us apart? What do people want to hear? What makes us different? Because at the end of the day, it could be a great idea, but is it really meaningful? Is it where we need to be in this season and time? And so the answer was yes. Prayerfully, you all continue to find value in, as they say, the content. I'm learning how to speak the language of social media. I'm usually not the person in front of cameras, social media. I do teach, but I teach in classroom live. I don't do a lot of virtual. Well, I do virtual for work. However, but anyhow, bringing true lifestyle insights to this audience, tied into biblical principle. Everything we say and do is centered around God, our faith, and our inspiration is truly going to be biblically based. So hopefully,
and we hope that you all can connect with our personalities, and we build a community and platform. You'll be hearing about some of those things that we're going to be offering, because we also want to build a community and platforms to spill off to some other things that we're doing. So let's hear about us. For those that don't know, why the Clarity Lounge? Why did we choose this name? We chose this name, the Clarity Lounge, because in this just time in our life, one of the things that is of value is getting clarity. We want to have clarity. What is clarity? It's having a fuller understanding, if you will, about life, different ups and downs that we go through, just clear on even the way we communicate with one another. That's a big something that you're going to be here, that we learn a lot, how to properly communicate with one another, and different things that we're going to be sharing in those moments. Why the Clarity Lounge? I'm asking Val, but I kind of chose the name, but for the sake of
we
interview.
have a lot of conversations around clarity.
Right, yeah.
Because in this season and time, and we'll be sharing a lot of our personal story through this, I guess, podcast, if you will.
Yeah, it's a podcast.
Is it a podcast?
It's a podcast.
It feels like we're doing just Facebook Live.
No. We've moved on up. We've elevated.
Especially
it's not just we got the good microphones to keep all the reverb and the bass in my voice. So,
but just in the season and time, and I know we counsel and talk to or just share a lot with others around just feeling stuck in life, or it's different when you're young and you it's different from a point where you're 20s and then your 30s and 40s, and it's not an age thing, but often throughout life, it's just you have these moments where it's like, what's next? Am I really in purpose? Am I adding value? What am I supposed to be doing? I feel like I've already accomplished that. Some people say I've hit the glass ceiling and all the terms that you hear. And then also you start realizing, am I really doing what I'm fully passionate about? But also, am I doing what I've been called to do? Is it purposeful? Right. And so I know I've had this, self-talk and also talk because, he's my mentor as well. And my coach and my life coach. And so I'm always talking about hey, I feel like I've outgrown this space, or I don't feel challenged anymore, but I can't quite get clear on what am I supposed to be doing next. And so finding myself really working through that has been a journey. And so again, talking to others, I realize I'm not alone. There's others that feel the very same way. So whether it's getting clear about your purpose, whether it's getting clear about things that are going on in your marriage, whether it's getting clear about the ins and outs of life, we are here to hopefully talk about these things, share our experience, and be
that ray of sun. Ray of sun. And what we wanted to also kind of show throughout is we're word-based.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. We word-based. We love the Lord, and we're going to say what the Lord say. However, a lot of times there's a disconnect, with us living life on purpose and doing God's will, but not being so rigidly, I don't want to say that word, but rigidly religious. And so we want to bring that.
So that's you just saying overly religious.
Yes, rigid, just rigid. Rigid.
Because there's a practical way to do it.
Exactly.
And we got to be real about this thing. We know the Lord is great, and we know prayer answers things, but there's work that has to be done.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're probably going to get into this whole, but we're just talking.
Yeah, we're just fluid.
But we get in this space where we feel like, as believers especially, or we've been on this Christian journey forever, that we don't have these moments that we just are unclear. It's not necessarily about not having faith. And sometimes there is some fear attached to it, but it's really just saying, God, I just really don't know.
Right.
I'm unclear. I'm unsure. It doesn't feel great. I don't feel like I'm adding value. I don't know what my purpose is in this season. It all aligns with what you're fully called to, but there are moments in your life that you're going to feel stuck. So it's like, hey, how do you find God's guidance through this time to get clarity and direction in our daily lives? And that's really what it's about. And
navigate through it, like you were saying. That was so good, because it's okay.
It's okay.
This morning I was taking the kids to school, and I always do, for those that don't know, it's Abide. It's called Abide. And with Abide, it'll give you a scripture and some different things this morning they were talking about fear. It was literally on fear. And it resonated with me because the speaker, she was saying, she always does a quick prayer. After she'll do a quick prayer. And she said, God, I forget how she prefaced the word, but I'm understanding that it's okay that I'm scared and full of anxiety in this moment, but I'm depending and trusting in you. And I think that's what realistically we have to understand, because so often we get people they make you feel bad as a Christian because you're scared about something, the fear of the devil, don't fear, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, no, that's a real emotion. You're going to be afraid, but we don't stay there. Right. We don't stay there. And I know with all the things, just being a prophetic person, the thing that the Lord has shown me is scary.
Yeah.
It's scary, even challenges that we have, it's scary, but the clarity comes when we're totally dependent on God, and He allows us to work through those places, and spaces. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that.
We said that together. No, but what I was going to say, and that's leading into probably a question most people would say, well, how do you become clear? You know, and a lot of times you have to quiet yourself. And that's a term that I use. Now, again, there's different techniques, and we're not saying we have all of the answers, but what we can say is what's worked for us and what can be an inspiration to you. And at first, because we're in such a busy world, a busy time,
stay on go.
Stay on go. And so when you're trying to just find your way, and some of us, I'm busy on go, and sometimes I'm asking, well, where are you going? Are you clear on where you're supposed to be?
I don't know. I'm just
going.
Sometimes
we're just going. We're just really going.
I don't know. I always go this way.
Right. And we do that often. I'm like, well, wait, what's really the purpose and intent for some of these things? Because we stay extremely busy. So we've had to scale back, and we've had to really assess our quote unquote busyness and start determining really where are we supposed to be spending our time. Because a lot of what we've realized, we're spending a lot of time in places that it's not where we should be. And it's not really warranting or I'll say bringing great value to our lives.
Right.
In the words of a friend of ours, there's no real return on investment. So why are you putting a lot of effort and time into this or that? Is that where you're supposed to be? So stop. When you talk about getting clear, you've got to first just kind of slow it down. First of all, slow down. We got to slow down. There's a lot of movement.
Yeah. Anything that you want clarity on, you gotta slow down. Because I'm thinking about when you go to the doctor and they want to examine you for maybe you were saying your wrist is hurting. You gotta go in there, sit down. They take your vitals to make sure you're in a calm place, and then they tell me about what's going on. So the first exercise that leads to clarity of anything is to slow down, and then be able to articulate definitively the problem. Like what's going on? We can't come up with a resolve if we don't understand what the problem or the deficit is. And so that's what we hope to share or give light in this whole platform that God has allowed us to start, which is amazing. The Clarity Lounge. It's amazing because those are things that we want to really talk about and give insight. I don't care if it's cooking broccoli, vegetables. We want you to walk away. This is a platform that we want you to gain value from. Now we're going to, crack up and do some things, and we're not going to just be in this set. I've already got some great things planned that we'll be behind the scene and doing stuff like that. But I wanted to say this. One of the things that we always want to share on the platform is a scripture. And our scripture point tonight is Proverbs 3:5-6. And it reads, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to your own understanding, all your ways acknowledge him, and he will do what? He will direct your paths. And this translation says straight. Make your path straight. Yeah. And that's so good because it talks about, again, it answers the question, kind of what you position. How do you find clarity?
Right.
By trusting in God. But when we say trust in God, what does that mean? And that's kind of where I am with this platform. And I hope to do is give clarity and practicality to what that means. Because people say, well, you just got to trust in God. You can't be all that, just trust in God. What does that mean? Yeah. How do you trust in God? That's a question.
Oh, is that? I thought you asked. I thought you would go.
Oh, that's a question.
Well, I mean,
I need a sip break in my Charlie Brown cup.
Really? You just asked the question and he interrupted with Charlie Brown. You see how he's so that's another thing.
I love Charlie Brown.
You all will find it. We may lean one way and then all of a sudden we switch channels. I joke with him often because I'm like, you switch channels very quickly because he'll put it out there and then he'll be onto something else. It's like that shiny squirrel syndrome. I'm like, all right, where are we at now?
Yeah,
so
I suffer from
let
that.
me know when we back to the
script.
Okay, so about Charlie Brown, yes, it's one of his. Yeah. Tell them about Charlie Brown and how much you love.
So I collect these.
The Peanut Group.
The Peanuts games, guys.
Group
I actually have a Charlie Brown shirt. Maybe I'll wear that next week. But now back to you.
So what does it mean to trust God? You got to trust him. You got to lean into what he says concerning whatever it is that you're going through. And how do you find that out? You got to spend time with him. Right. I know it sounds cliche and sometimes we're like, oh yeah, the prayer and this and that. But first of all, that's why I say quiet your spirit. And quieting your spirit, you're going to devote your time in that quiet time with God, praying concerning whatever that is. knowing then that he's going to release instructions to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It may not make sense sometimes, which is why it says lean not to our understanding, but leaning into his. And you've got to put your whole heart's intent into what he's saying and into him to believe it. Because it is ultimately at times, it's going to be a faith walk.
Yeah.
You know, he may show you a plan, but what it's going to cost you to get there, or if you're given instructions on how and what you need to do to get there, sometimes it may not make sense. Sometimes it may be uncomfortable. Sometimes it may not logically feel like it fits into our analytical brains, because some of us are the most intellectual people on earth. But it's a faith walk. And so you've got to be there. But you've got to stop to be able to hear, though.
Right.
Because in this busyness and stuff, we throwing out prayers and we're petitioning things to God and we're moving. We're not even sitting to wait for some of the answers or the instructions or direction that he's trying to give us.
Right. And I think that's the interesting thing, because it's a great place of exercising humility.
Humility, yes.
Because you've got to trust is to, and I was just thinking when you were saying that, trust means to have like a reliance on, a dependency on, just like we would trust. And I know this is so cliche. Everybody uses
the chair.
The chair.
You just sat in the chair.
Everybody uses it as a faith. Yeah, you're sitting in the chair and nothing holding up. Well, actually it is. You know, but when you think about it, trusting means that you sit on stuff, you do stuff like we get in our automobile, just, you know, second nature. We don't look to drive down the street and it just fall apart like cartoons. So it's like having a strong dependency without any, without any irregularities, can I say it that way, of diluting what you're trusting him for. Because it says that in all your heart. So meaning it can't just be head, but it's got to be your heart as well. Which means it has to be something that's connecting those principal points that is bigger than analytically what I can see, but it's also connected with heart. And I think the reason why it points out heart here, because the heart holds our love and devotion to God. So it's because we don't, here's a kicker, y'all. We actually don't have vision. God give us vision. So we're actually operating in what he's empowered us to do, which is why it says, trust in the Lord. And sometime in that leaning in our own understanding, we try to figure out, and I know I'm big at that. I'm trying to figure out like, how this going to work? How this going to work? What are the components to this? How long is this going to take? You know, and it's frustrating. It's a very frustrating place when you're in there. So when people tell you to trust in God, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, how do you do that? And like you said, you gave practical principles. Like, I would say, revisit the vision, whatever he gave you, but also find a quiet place that you can hear from him so he can download the strategy that what needs to be necessarily done at that time, you know, and it'll give you, it'll aid in your guidance of what you need to do. Because I know sometimes I wrote a book, y'all, of the many that will be released, and it's called One Box at a Time. And that's one of the things is kind of like that. You got to trust. And my cousin, Mika, is infamous for this. This is her coined phrase. Trust the process. Trust the process. So even when you can't see it.
That's a good point, though, because a lot of times we can believe that there is a vision, that there is an end goal, that there is a place he's taking us, that, okay, he's trying to break off the clarity and to say, hey, so this is what I'm going to have you do. Here's the plan. Here's the purpose. But then when you start getting the instructions and you realize there is a process to get there, that's what we get in the way. Yeah. And I like in the scripture, because when it talks about in all of your ways, acknowledge him. Yeah. Because we then begin to get in our way about a lot of things and not his way. But yet it's still, we want to trust him to carry us and take us there. Now he can do it. He's a God that's sovereign, can do all things, but we get in the way. Right. Yeah. Which is why you think about when that scripture, like, why is it important that it even talks about in all of your ways? So you can't be half there and half, half him, half out. It's either you're going to go full on, or then you're just gonna do it your way, and then let us know how that works.
That's good. Right? That's good. In all your ways also points to, like you said, all the dynamics of oneself. Your mind, your body, your finances, like everything. Yeah. the totality of it, or it's simple like this: whatever you find important to you is important to God, and He has something to say about it. So
let me ask you this: what's something recently, in current state, I'll say, you've been soliciting to God about getting clear on?
Well, a number of things, but I'll try that one. I'll try to do one. One is there's a major purchase that we want to do, a major purchase. Mm-hmm. And right now, I'll be honest, it's not making sense to me. I don't see, I'm believing, I'm trusting. So one of the things that I'm honest with God is where I am. And I always think about the story in the Bible where the man said, help my unbelief. Mm-hmm. So I cry that out to God because I don't know. I believe that He can. And I think that's the hiccup moment. It's like, I believe He can, I believe He will, but how?
Yeah.
It puts you in a place of anxiety because okay, am I missing the prompts? Did He tell me something to do that I omitted to do? Or did He tell me something to do that I did and it wasn't Him? It's like all these things because I'm not one of those people who, oh, wow, I know the voice of God. I do, but there are times that I know that our thoughts can be filtered through our own emotions. So to really be in that place, and I know the scripture, don't y'all come for me, it says that a good sheep knows the shepherd's voice. But let's be real honest, and that's what we're dealing with here in clarity. Let's be honest. Sometimes, even though, and that's what's funny with me because I'm a prophetic person, it's like, oh, now I know the Lord said Val gonna make it do it. I know that. But when it comes to XYZ here, I'm like, okay. I don't know about that. Did He really tell me to go and get $20 and put over here? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I know a lot of people think when it challenges your stretch, but I'm not even talking about stretchy things. And what I mean by that, y'all, is not a big thing.
Right.
It could be something as simple as get up and pray for the move, something like that. And I'm like, okay, is that me? Because this is something that I want really bad. Y'all understand what I'm saying? If y'all can relate to that, drop something in the comment, drop a thumbs up or something like that. It's like, God, I want to be in this place with you. I want to trust you in here, but I just need clarity. You need clarity, like who's really speaking, because so many times, and I guess that's the downside, because we know so many people that say, God said, God said, God said, but then it was unfruitful. Now we know that He didn't, but that doesn't make, that don't help nobody. What we want to do is find clarity. And in those moments, sometimes we just have to wait. God is not angry with us because we say we want to wait and get clarity. He told the children of Israel when Moses was bringing them out of Egypt, He said, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. So there's nothing. He also tells us in His word, if any man lacking wisdom, pray to the Father. So there's a time that when you get in that place, then it begins to unravel and unfold. And this is what I found. That's such a good question. It's loaded. Sometime when it begins to unravel and unfold, the answer is so abundantly full. It's almost like, I was stressing out about this. Yeah. I was, and so I think the posture of an individual, believe and trust in God even when you don't know. Even when you don't know, you still got to be in that place of just like, okay, God, however it works out, but be prompt to move to those directives. And I believe that 100%. God has done it so many times for me. He's given directives. He's told us, because like I said, y'all, again, I'm not one. I know, and no, I'm not casting shade on no people, but some people like, the Lord said, get a cup of coffee. It don't flow like that with me, right. And I'm not, please y'all, I'm not poking fun at nobody, I'm saying, but it doesn't flow like that with me, so it was so funny because I was having a conversation with Mama Sonia the other day about this very topic, about the Lord gives us common sense to do certain things, and we were talking about, somebody had asked me a question about godly wisdom versus man wisdom. And I was telling them that, godly wisdom is divine. Yeah. Is spiritually divine. It's not of anything you exercise to acquire or do, but God also gives us wisdom acquired from events and occurrences. So I was giving them an example, like, you don't have to pray and ask God to brush your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you know that. Brush your teeth. If you don't brush your teeth, wisdom says if you don't brush your teeth, you're going to have a yuck mouth. You know, that's just case point. You know, well.
I ain't heard that term.
Yeah, that's, I guess we're dating ourselves. But anywho, so I think that answers your question. You know, that's what I believe, that when we stay in that place, and we have to be totally saturated towards God, and he begins to make his way clear. He's not a God that will not get clarity, and he's done it so many times for me. I've been in some major decisions, you know, and sometimes he'll tell me, nah, this ain't gonna be a fleece moment. You just got to step out and do it. Yeah. That's been some of the response.
You said something, you know, in that story where you talked about being a little frustrated with, you know, what you're hearing. And what came to mind is because it takes a level of submission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And vulnerability. You know what I mean? To trust anyone, to trust any person. Of course, of anybody we're going to trust, we should trust God. But you know what it really takes in terms of our personal will? Our will.
Yeah.
It's like to really just think about a posture of submission.
Release all.
You know, you got to release all and just believe like, okay, you know. And it's interesting because I've heard testimonies and I know we've had our own testimony. It's kind of like when we've tried all the things, it's like, and then we get to that place like I feel like I have tried or I have expensed all of my energy trying to figure this out. God, it's only, I have nowhere else to go but to look up into you. And there it's like, and now you're to me, it's like now you're in that posture of really true submission to say, not my will, not my way, God, but truly I'm asking you concerning this. I don't know. I'm not clear about this. I need you to step in. I need you to make this plain and clear. I need help right now.
Right.
And it's interesting the things that you do. And you're
right. The words now.
And what's crazy is sometimes when you just wait and receive instruction from the Lord and just you start, it's like it's funny how in moments like that, how it does start becoming clear. And then you do look back like I was stressed out about all that. And it's like all you had to do all along was just consult me, you know. And really, you know, and I know people are like, oh, that's just so deep. No, seriously. But even in that, if you want to take it from a practical sense, if you but stop sometimes, like an example, we talk about this, and this is probably a good insert when you talked about the book you had, One Box at a Time. Because when you look at a situation and you're not clear as to what the outcome is going to be or what's going to come from this or where I need to go, where I need to move, typically you're looking at a full scope and it's overwhelming.
Yeah, you look
it
at
is
the finish.
overwhelming. But if you just in the natural, what do? We take, you know, whether it's a to-do list or cleaning out the garage that's overwhelmed, whatever that looks like. It's like, I don't see how this is going to happen. When you can't see something, that means you're unclear. By the way, that's what lack of clarity is.
Right.
So in order to be just to be clear, so no pun intended, just to be clear, right? But when you sit down and you start organizing, or whether you do your to-do list, whether you check off, you know, you say red circle, people have the ABC listing, the 1, 2, 3s, put these columns and prioritize, however your priority and organizational skills or systems look like. When you do that and you look back, you're like, okay, this ain't that bad. Right. It's because you have to pause and settle yourself down to get clear. You can't keep moving and adding and moving and adding. And yet you sitting there talking about lack of clarity. So again, we talk about how the application of it. It's like, first step, you got to just, you know, pause, sit, settle, quiet yourself down, and then start thinking and identifying what is it that you're unclear about. And what's in the way? What are the hindrances? What are the roadblocks? Or what is assumed thought that's there? Is it fear? Are you afraid to move forward? Are you comparing? And now it all depends on what it is you're unclear about.
And be honest. You got to be honest with whatever that thing or whatever. And sometimes early you don't really know. Yeah. Because I've been in that place where it's like there's a hesitation or something there, but you really don't know. Yeah. You know.
But how do you then find out?
So, well, in past moments, like you said, is that quiet place of not progressing, not moving, not just like, well, I'm just going to do this. No, you can't haul off and do that because that's done from a emotional state. I'll say it's not. And even the Bible warns us about just hauling off doing stuff, y'all. Right. The Bible talks about one that considers going to war. And I'm paraphrasing, but it says you should consider the cost. It means take an assessment of what we're dealing with. One of the young women in the faith I love, Apostle Anya Hall, and I took one of her classes. She said before you can make a proper assessment, you got to step back and take a look. You got to calm down, take a look. And here it is, y'all, and this is the Clarity Lounge. Anything. If we were going to cook a roast, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say we're going to cook a roast and we don't know. We just, oh, God, we got to cook dinner. These people coming. I don't know how to cook a roast. First thing you do is calm down.
Just stop.
Calm down. Then, like, boom. Then the creative juices start flowing, like innovation come. Oh, look on YouTube.
Right.
Find a recipe.
Because now you stop. Yeah. You've assessed. Now you're getting instructions.
Right.
And then from the instructions, you can now execute it.
And then you will see.
And then you will see. And then I can see clear now. The rain is gone.
The rain is gone. Yeah.
The rain is
bright and sunshiny day. And it works. This formula.
I just had a thought. So think about
what's
this.
What's the thought?
When you're in a storm, driving through a storm, what happens?
When you drive through a storm.
So
I don't know, because see, but the way my brain, I'm trying to answer your question, but my brain, Yolanda Adams is singing right here. I'm riding through the storm.
Well, you probably, some people do ride, but people often do, they stop.
Yeah.
Because why? Why do people stop?
Because you can't see.
Come on. That's what I'm talking about. See. And so you have to do what? Assess.
You have to assess.
And figure out what I
Sometimes you have to pull over and stop for a minute.
Most people do pull over and stop for a minute.
Wait, what you mean? You said like
you don't.
You said I don't.
You keep driving. I know you, but see, clear or not. I mean, if you're on the side of the road, you in the lane.
Well, I figure we walk and drive by.
But think about that. Because now you're not driving, you're impeding the flow of traffic.
Right,
you're over in someone else's lane. You're not.
You're really not progressing.
And then you've missed exits. You weren't sure where you was going because you weren't
unnecessary warfare.
Yeah. So see, when we don't stop to get clarity on whatever that thing is,
there's no movement. Yeah.
It progressed.
Yeah,
it
no progression.
Prohibits.
Absolutely, that was a good illustration. Okay. That's so true because, again. We can see how this can be implanted in any part of our life. Personally, business, even, now I know y'all been here, for those that have kids, oh my goodness, kids go through that stage where they just screaming for everything. They Pampers change, and they just scream. And if you're not careful, you'll get so worked up. This is how people do stuff to babies, for real, y'all, because it's overwhelming. Like, I done changed you and I'm fed you. What do you want? And they're like, I don't know. I just learned my mouth works. Whatever the case. And they just scream. You're like, okay, hold up. Let me take a deep breath. So, those are really good exercise and points that when you're in a place of calamity, of overwhelm, to get clarity, take a breath. Just take a deep breath. And it's so amazing what that'll do.
Yeah. And I know another area when we talk about clarity, and I know clarity is such a broad, because we can hit this on so many, clear about your next, that's another term that's being used now. Like, what's my next?
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to seek out their next, but also just clear about, I don't know, I keep hearing like identity too.
Yeah.
Just clear on who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Right. Yeah. And I'm not talking about just from a gender perspective and all the things, just really who are you? Sometimes some of us are unclear when it comes to who we're supposed to be.
What do you house in you?
What do you house in terms of purpose? And I know we're in ministry, so you think ministry, and we get that a lot where people just aren't sure, like, where am I supposed to be in this season now? Or what, how do I fit in? Or what is God? I'm not sure, and I'm not clear on what I've been called to do.
Or even outside of what my God task is.
Yeah. Outside of that, because it's applicable.
What the individual, because one of the things that I do in training, both of us are trainer guys, by the way. I do clarity coaching, and Val does leadership training and a lot of other stuff in between. But one of the things that we can both agree on, before we get people to that place, they have to come to a place of admitting what's going on. And what I mean by that, one of the hardest things that I found for people to do, even myself, when my one-on-one with my own self, there are certain things that are true about us that nobody don't have to tell us. We get upset because people verify. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's already there, but people verify. We get, but it's like, the only way we can get the help is when we agree with what the symptoms are. Yeah. So if you are insecure, this is one that I've seen. When you tell a person they're insecure, you would think that you cuss them out.
Yeah.
People do not like to hear that because we don't take it as a word or a placement for tweaking and correction. We take it as a place of picking out flaws. And what it is layered with shame. Mm-hmm. Because we've created this imagery. All of us have created imagery of ourselves, mm-hmm. but it's not the true us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because the true us, there are certain things like mostly our family, but Val knows she's helped me unpack certain things about me, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. But it was being comfortable in that vulnerable moment that you were okay, that you weren't going to feel judged. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think in gaining clarity, people have to understand that it's okay when you find that circle. That's why I'm so a big advocate for community. Mm-hmm. We got to have community. So many people try to stand out and do stuff on their own, and they're sinking. Yeah. They're literally sinking because there comes a time, even me, the person that pours, there's a time to be poured into. Yeah, yeah. And that's why I'm going away. That's why I'm going away very soon. And I'm so excited about raising Kyle, because I am going to lay on the floor. I'm going to slob. I'm going to do all the other things that people look in the service for me to impart. I'm going to be that person. Amen. We got to have that filling station. We have to be in that place.
That's a good point too. And think going back, so I want to make sure, we try to make sure we're sticking with the theme of getting clear. And this doesn't work for everyone. Mm-hmm. Everybody's styles are different. Everybody's way of getting clear is different. But I know a few friends and sisters that go, we know a few people that do this. They actually go away by themselves. One, to spend time with God, but also sometimes it's just to get clear about, what is he saying in this season. And again, we put God in it, but also just to get clear about, even outside of, from the business sense, I should say, we know someone, they actually go away and they spend time like mapping out their year. Mm-hmm. They go into like a room, they steal away, and then they start setting goals and doing all the things to just get clear about like, where am I supposed to be going next? Like what's in this next season for me? What's in this next year for me? What's in the next 6 months or whatever that looks like? So however, when we talk about, again, being practical, how does someone do that? Mm-hmm. These are things we do. We have moments that we actually set, all right, when we set up our meetings, our meeting times to just talk through and get clear about goals, clear about, just where do we need to be spending our time, making sure our balance is correct. And just really starting to check each other. We haven't always been here. We're not going to act like it's just been us. We've learned over the years how to do this, because what happens, we become extremely frustrated in a lot of our efforts because we're just really just aimlessly doing stuff. It's like, what are we even doing with this? Like, where are we even going? At the point, it's like, and why are we keep doing this again? Yeah. Or why are we in this space, or what's happening with this, or why are we spending our time here? So it's just one of those things where like, hey, we got to go back to the drawing board, slow it down a little bit, and make sure that we get clear about exactly what our direction should be. And of course, that takes a lot of, quieting noise around us, quieting people, especially when if you're a person that gets pulled on a lot, because sometimes we use that as an excuse. People. Yeah, like an excuse of like, I just don't have time. I don't have time for me. Well, guess what? If you don't get great about blocking out time for yourself to do this, I don't know.
It could be pretty bad.
It could be overwhelming. Like you have to, and just get creative.
And you'll live there.
And even if give yourself grace, even if it's 15 to 30 minutes, start slow. Like everybody's not in a position to go jump on a yacht or a boat or a plane to go fly away to another country to do this or whatever. But think about just quieting in your room or scheduling the right time, the times that if you're a mom and your kids are gone, or just make it known like, hey, I just need 30 minutes. Hopefully we're doing devotion time, but anyway, that's going to another space, but finding really creatively finding time, because it's all about making sure that we're doing this, finding, the right space and time, and get creative. That's the word I'm
looking for. And have
how you do that.
Have a care day, or, some people like they have care months.
Wait a minute. Care month.
Your birthday month. But have a care day. In what was really recently impactful to me, And because Val's my wife, she know me, I'm not expressive in a lot of manners, still trying to navigate where that come from. But anyway, I was always against the whole manicure, pedicure stuff. I didn't want to do that. So one Saturday, was it?
Mm-hmm. You mean recent?
Yeah, we went out and we just hung out and had a ball.
And actually,
I initiated.
I said instigate.
I initiated.
You were instigator.
Yeah,
he initiated it, which was very different because he's like, "Let's go get pedicures." I look like
we had a nice lunch.
You okay? You
we had a nice lunch, and then we went to get pedicures and different things. I'm going to be posting later on those pictures. Mm-hmm. But when I tell you, in that moment, I was like a little kid. I was so relaxed, when I was looking over there because the person I love was with me, And I don't know why I feel like getting emotional now, but it was a very emotional time. It's like she was right there with me, and we were getting the pedicures together. And it's like, I don't know now, and we're going to be talking about this our next show, y'all. Just some things that have crept in my life that has caused me to appreciate life. Certain time, and that's finding clarity and navigating through ups and downs in life, because there are certain things you can't do nothing about. There are certain things that happen that life hits you. You can do absolutely nothing about, but trust God, Yeah. And so, but in that moment, it was magical to me. Yeah. Really, we were sitting there, and so the people were so nice, and they even had nice music. I still quite don't understand the concept of Oriental shops. I don't get their decorating skill, but I don't understand the.
Why? Because it's very colorful.
Well, it's like a lot going on, so it almost took me out of my zen, if I can say that, and still be saying. Because people say zen, it took me out of that calming moment because I was like, me, my mind moves fast, so I'm sitting there. We're relaxing, right? The lady ordered me. The lady, she offered me a Coke, and then I'm like, wait a minute, cherry wood and polka dot.
They had bling and
on the ceiling. Then they got a whole.
It was super clean.
And very clean. It was, but for a moment, I got taken away. I got caught up, but then I came back. I came back to my moment because I was like, and that's nothing against. We all have our decorating expressions, I'll say, but that was just different to me. But it was in that moment, it was magical because I valued that, and I said, hey, I got to do this more because I'm just learning how to truly relax. I'm really just learning because it's always okay. Is kids okay? Is this okay? This is.
So you got clear on how to relax.
I got clear on how to relax and like let the pieces fall where they may. Yes, I have another soda, please. Rub my feet, put them hot rocks on it. And I enjoyed the moment. Everybody needs a healthy step out to regroup to step back in.
Use the word step out. We could use a different word.
Okay, all right. Yeah, step out sounds like, okay. Everybody needs a healthy disconnect to.
What about just everyone needs a self-care day?
Yeah, self-care day, but it's still, I think
you got to remove yourself.
Yeah, I think it's powerful to say you got to detach or reload.
Yeah, be refreshed.
A refreshed day. You need that. Yeah. Now, I'm going to circle it back around and put some word on it for all the people that are kind of living on the edge. I'm going to help y'all out. The word lets us know that he restores our soul. So anything that we do as believers, the first step of finding that clarity is finding a quiet place for yourself that you can hear him. And everybody has different places. Right. Everybody has different meeting places. It looks different for everybody, case by case. Yeah.
Because some people are tropical. They like the beach. He's not a beach person. I don't mind it, but lately as I got older, the sun is not my friend. I used to love being in the sun, but now it's like.
The sun is disrespectful.
No, total.
On so many levels. I didn't even know I could get a tan until we went to SeaWorld with our children. And I looked at my shirt. I'm like, what is this foolishness? And I blame my whole family. I blame all three of them, Val, Zion, and Zachary, because they took me out there to SeaWorld. And here's the thing, y'all. Shamu was not even there.
But Shamu ain't been.
I was really disappointed. Well, I keep sharing the story with people, and folk keep saying, "Oh, well, Shamu was gone a long time ago." Shamu is the brand of SeaWorld. How can you not have SeaWorld without Shamu? But anyway, y'all, that's on a whole different topic. We'll talk about that later. Thank you guys for work at SeaWorld. They're going to appreciate that, or they probably give me some insight what happened to Shamu. So here's the thing, y'all. We want to thank y'all first for tuning in and let us kind of speak into your life and sharing this moment in your house or wherever you listen for, or even those that are listening on podcasts, because we're doing some big things, y'all. Praise God for that. We're doing podcasting and all that. But you also, now this is where y'all know I'm going to give you a CTA, call to action, that you can help us. If you're looking at this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and tap that bell so you'll be notified when we drop new content. Our goal is to drop new content every Monday at 7 o'clock. You can expect me or her or us together, or even some special guests we're going to bring in, and we're going to be getting clear. We're going to be clear in the air.
I used to laugh at the videos that they do, that they'll stop and you're like, just keep talking. I'm trying to get to the meeting. They're like, well, before I keep going, you need to like. How does it go?
Like, share, and subscribe,
and tap the button and all. So we are actually those people.
She's becoming a video. Oh my gosh, what do they call us? I gotta ask Kathy, what do we call? Because we're trying to figure out who we are too. So I have to get Kathy clear. We're getting clear on who we are. But I think this platform, you guys are going to be blessed. Our goal is to keep it under an hour, and I'm hoping this is coming translating all right, because my little Wi-Fi thing keep popping up, which means my signal is weak.
So but let's ask them real quick. How do you ask people to, you say drop it in the comment?
Right, drop it in the comments.
Drop in the comment. What is it? Tell us one thing you're trying to get clear on in it. Clear on.
That's good.
Clear with and clear on in this season.
Yeah, you might be trying to
I'd be curious.
Why is my hair squished on one side? You might want clarity on that. Like, was my sponge
what do you
broken
need
in the
clarity
middle?
on? What are you getting? What are you trying to get clear on? I don't know. I'm trying to ask the best way. I said it right.
What are some things
just one
that you need clarity on?
Oh, you want a few?
No, it's fine. However, let it be free.
Okay, let it be.
Okay, well, she said one. Let's do it.
So it's several.
Y'all can tell this our first show. And Miss Vicky probably laughing at us because she said we fuss all the time. So I know she probably got her popcorn like enjoying it. We see you, Miss Vicky. But drop in the comment one thing that you want to get clarity on. And we're going to commit and pray with you. And also, what are some topics that you could share with us that you might want to hear us share and talk about? Remember, on this platform, it's a Clarity Lounge, and we're talking all things pertaining to life and godliness and gaining clarity in those spaces and places. So,
and we'll also be sharing some resources, and by resources, whether that's literature, whether that's
things that are current events,
things and people that we know that are in certain spaces. So I'd be curious, even talking through the clarity, like what you need clarity on. That'll help us identify some areas that we might get say, hey, we know somebody that'll be great for this space.
So I didn't do it tonight because this is our inaugural show, but I'm going to be doing little breaks, commercial breaks. Not throughout the whole thing, but we'll have one segment toward the end that we're going to be highlighting some of our friends, whether they're entrepreneurs,
business owners,
or just
lots of resource people that are
phenomenal people that we know, that we feel that are phenomenal. We're gonna share and give connection of how you can get in touch with them, and probably use some of their services if they're here locally.
Absolutely.
Or maybe you go out of town somewhere. But I think that sounds good. I think this was a great first show. Hopefully you all enjoyed it as well. So again, don't forget to share, tap that bell to subscribe. Tap to subscribe, and then hit the bell that you'll be notified every time we drop new content. And it's going to be, I'm trying so hard. I tell my good friend Tour this all the time, y'all. I'm trying so hard to not have the lights and just organically talk, because that's big when I got, we got to have, so that's why we're going to be also meeting in other spaces to talk to you guys. You got any last things you want to say before we sign off? And
I'm honored to do this with you.
I
know this is something you're more comfortable with. It's a stretch for me. Just because it feels awkward and uncomfortable not seeing who you're talking to, and then, which is great. You want to reach audiences and you just, all the things. But sometimes I feel like it feels like you're having to be an actress or actor, but then something that we talked about, it's like, hey, just be you, be authentic. I feel people relate more to that. And that's what I try to really be and do, even on this platform. And so y'all keep me in your prayers as we do this.
You're doing
Because
a
again,
phenomenal job.
it's different when you feel like you're on versus just naturally having the conversations in other spaces. But I'm honored to do this with you, and I'm glad that you invited me.
I'm glad to have you on this show, and hopefully you'll do well, and I won't have to fire you.
And hello, everybody. I don't know who's out there, but hi.
Well, this is live, dear, so you can't. Well, you still can.
Can
speak
I not
to
say hello?
No, you can, but they can't answer back. This you're thinking about live. This is not live. This is pre-recorded. Y'all, this is pre-recorded, so maybe we'll do some live. Maybe we'll do it. Y'all drop that in the comment too, because we're open to suggestions.
Okay.
If you would like the shows to be live, that's fine too. But drop it in the comment. Now, if you don't leave no comments, we're not gonna know. Okay. And don't be throwing no shades for all the people who like to put, people that maybe stumble upon this and you want to put stuff in the comments.
We're not going to entertain no foolishness.
I'm gonna tell you right now what's gonna happen.
Stuff,
I'm gonna do this finger right here. Love to block. I'm working it out because that's what I press block. I'm just going block. So no, we're not gonna go back and forth and type in the comments and have a battle in there.
No.
I always tell people if something is said that you don't agree with, slide on over to another channel. But we're not here. But who we're called to, those people that are our community, that's who are going to reap the benefit of what we're trying to do. God bless you all. We thank you all so much for hanging out with us. And don't forget, next week, next Monday, it's going to be quite tender. I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to be sharing. Our show is finding joy in unexpected places in life. Finding joy in unexpected places. And for those that might know, earlier on, I got a diagnosis, and I'm going to be talking about our journey through that, and just how people played a part in it. It's not over yet. I'm at the beginning of it, but I'm trusting and believing God. So if you want to get all the juicy deets, as they say, I think they say deets, details.
Yeah, deets.
Join us back on, and that is, by the way, a cliffhanger. That's what that was, what I just did. I'm just going to put it out there. So we want you to come back and hang out with us. So get your cup with your good juice in it. This is my.
I need a cup.
Yeah, because you're supposed to have a cup, right, y'all? You're supposed to have a cup when we do these things. So you gotta. I don't know what you do. She got a bottle. Who does that on a podcast? You're supposed to have a cup. I wasn't showing it. It's on the side. But we gotta get her cups. This is my cup. The Peanuts games. This is a shameless plug for those that I collect all of them. I love the Peanuts. When I was a kid, my mom's got a picture where I had this Snoopy shirt. I had Charlie Brown bubble bath and all that kind of stuff. But anyway.
Charlie Brown bubble bath?
Yeah, from Avon. We talk about and it had the little I think it was a car or something.
So real quick, who's your favorite character?
I would have to say my favorite character. And it's funny because we talked about this, because y'all might have known this, but for the longest, we called the little guy on the piano Linus. That's not Linus. So to answer your question,
who's the dirty one?
Pigpen.
Okay, so, I thought Linus was the dirty one. The one with the little.
Oh my God. No, I'm having a moment. She messing up Peanuts game.
Yeah.
No,
you know what I'm talking about.
No, Schroeder played the piano.
I knew that.
Right. And Charlie Brown's sister was Sally, if I'm not mistaken. Lucy was the one that always messed him up. And
what is Peppermint Patty? That's why you laugh.
Okay, because I was going, but we're gonna stop because I said something one time about Peppermint Patty in the salon and people almost burnt me at stake. So I'm not gonna say that now. But she said, "What was Peppermint Patty?" I'm gonna let y'all live in that.
That's an honest question. I really never. I was.
Well,
there.
Marcy called her sir.
Well,
but they reference her as a her. So I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna leave that alone.
You're trying to be political.
I'm gonna leave that alone. So y'all help us out. I know if my friend Ophelia was here, she'd probably screaming out. She could give all the rundown. Well, I know Snoopy was a dog.
Okay, so real fast. So
Snoopy was a dog that cooked Thanksgiving dinner.
I'm done. So wait, Snoopy real quick. So who was Linus in all seriousness? Linus was the guy with the blanket. Isn't he the dirty? The one
No, the dirty one is Pigpen. And the only black one, his name was what was his name? I know his name.
You don't remember the black one.
It's not Bartholomew. He had a long name. It wasn't Antonio. Y'all help us out. The black guy on the Peanuts gang. What was his name?
I didn't watch
it. It wasn't Antonio. I almost called him. Anyway, y'all, we got to go because we kind of keep trying to keep the show under an hour. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, share this with a friend. Tell somebody. Let them know what's going on with the Clarity Lounge. Thank you. Love you. Y'all have a blessed evening, and we'll look forward to seeing you on next Monday. God bless.